Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. There are a few builds, a few weapons here in Warzone right now that are borderline broken. They're in that overpowered conversation. Like, you use these, you're gonna have the enemies going, what did I just die to? They are, for a fact, watching the kill cam and copying that build to know what just destroyed them in game. And today I wanted to break down 5 of the most OP weapons and loadouts that you can be using right now, starting first with a pretty crazy one. It's the VST. We know this thing's crazy. It's got the best in class TTK. But what if we turned that up to 11 with the Stentorian break on here that makes the fire rate even faster and in turn the TTK even faster? This is unmatched in terms of its close range TTK, which in my opinion makes it pretty OP. So as mentioned, the Stentorian break on here, yes, it's gonna show you on the radar as like the advanced dot. However, that means players are gonna push you and they're gonna run into the fastest TTK weapon in the close range, which means they're gonna be spectating or watching a kill cam and copying your build. You also get better control out of this, which is certainly something that the VST could always use. I got the long barrel on here, 17-meter effective damage range and the best in class TTK in that range. That's just a recipe for disaster for your enemies. I also got the Vast Convergence foregrip on here, not something I usually use on subs, but it's got a good boost to vertical and horizontal control here, making the gun a little bit easier. Extended Mag 2 is a must-have. You want every single bit of those 50 bullets, since we do have a 1,132 rate of fire with that Stentorian break on there. And then recoil springs just to keep things as easy as possible. The TTK is not crazy fast unless you're landing your shots, so we want to make sure we can do that with these, and this setup definitely helps out a ton with that. This thing is nuts to use in the close range. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's always cool when I'm checking the stats of a bunch of different weapons and I can compare some legacy guns, and it actually turns out that they're in a way better than some current game guns, and that is the case with the XMG here. This thing's damage range, mixed with the fact that it has basically no recoil, means that it is a long range laser beam. Now, yes, it is a legacy gun. It's an LMG. It's a little bit slow and heavy, but this thing hits over the long range, which makes it a ton of fun to use. So here I start up with the Oturo Red Dot, an optic that I'm comfortable with, I'm familiar with from BO6 Warzone. If there's a different scope you like more, feel free to go ahead and rock that. Monolithic suppressor for the better range, the better velocity. It's going to keep me off the radar. I also end up having a 1032 velo. That's sufficient for the long range. And yes, you're not confused, your eyes are working correctly. That says a 95-meter effective damage range. That is what makes this thing so overpowered and so broken. It just has a gradual damage drop off. There is no steep second, third, fourth damage range you got to deal with. It is 0 to 95 meters. The thing is that insane. Now, it's a heavy, slow LMG, so I try and speed it up at least a little bit with Fast Mag 1. It's a 75-round Mag 2, which is still really good. That's basically an extended mag, but it reloads a little bit faster. Buffer weight stock, not available on a ton of weapons, but the XMG is one of them, and it gives you a ton of recoil control to make it even easier. And then recoil springs. We want to be as easy and as efficient as possible here, and when you stack some of these control attachments together, it turns out to be a laser beam of a gun that has insane range and very, very good damage. So definitely, you know, borderline broken in this case. By the way, as we are breaking down all the guns, all the builds here today, if you guys are new to the channel, you want to make sure you're always in the know for everything going on in COD, whether it's news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns, of course. It's all right here every single day, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. And if you guys enjoy this video, you find it helpful to get the info on these builds and you're using the build codes and what have you, do me a favor, hit that like button. It's always seriously appreciated. Next up here, we've got the FG42. I feel like I can't not mention this thing if we're talking about overpowered guns. It's got the best in class TTK for the rifles right now, while also being one of the easiest guns to use in the game. Typically, super low recoil guns don't have a crazy good damage. This one does, though. It's got a fast TTK and it's easy to use, so you really can't go wrong with it. It's checking all the boxes you need to have a tier 1 meta weapon, basically. So I've really been liking this more standard rifle build on this as of late with the hover point elo, or again, any optic you find comfortable to use that you know you can land your shots with. Monolithic suppressor for the better range and the better velocity, of course, and obviously keeps us off the radar. Then I got the control barrel, even better velocity. We're up to 1121, so that's a really solid hit scan range. Then we got a 42-meter effective damage range and a 61-meter second damage range, where yes, it does have the best in class TTK. I also go for the mobile recoil handguard here. You get some movement speed, just helps out, makes this thing a little bit more aggressive, and then you get some horizontal control on top of that, which is always a good thing to have. No such thing as too much control. And then just extended mag 1 or extended mag 2 here, depending on your squad size. If you're just playing solos, use extended mag 1. If you're just playing quads, use extended mag 2. Either or is going to work just fine there. The FG42 is very, very fun to use right now. Now, it's not often we talk about shotguns here on the channel. That's because mostly they all suck. They don't balance them to be very strong because they would just dominate the close range meta. We've had a few too many broken shotguns in Warzone's history, but the Riveter right now is crazy up close. Unfortunately, the firing range doesn't really, showcase it that much because 10 meters is outside of the effective range. But if you are barrel stuffing with this thing, especially with this build, it is annoying to run into because it will fry you. You just got to be playing the ultra close range. So here I start up first with the Bryson choke, tighter pellet spread, better hip fire and tack stance spread as well. That's going to be important. So keep that in mind for the remainder of the build. We got the long barrel on here, just pushes our damage range out a little bit more. 4 meters for the effective damage range. Like, you've got to be barrel stuffing, but it will be absolutely nuts if you are that close to an enemy. I also go for the tactical stock here. Better tack stance spread, better hip fire spread, better sprint to fire spread. I also go for the Razor Hawk laser sight. Better tack stance spread, better sprint to fire. If you can't tell, this is in fact a tack stance build. We're going to switch into that, and then this thing is even easier to use in my opinion. And then what really makes it broken is the incendiary ammo. It's going to give you that fire damage. Another fire shotgun, I know, but hey, in the close range, like I said, it's incredibly obnoxious to run into. Every time you die to this, you're like, that was fun. Guess I'm spectating now, because this thing will erase you up close. You just got to be very, very close for it to be that broken. And then lastly here, I feel like I got to talk about the MK35 ISR for a lot of the same reasons as the FG42. This thing is super low recoil. It is incredibly easy to stay on target, even at some pretty extreme distances, and its TTK is not bad by any means. It's actually one of the best in class as well over the long range. So like, this thing again is packing a punch. It's got the super low recoil elements to it, and it's got a great TTK with great range. That's what you need for an excellent long range choice. So again, a pretty standard rifle build. I got the hover point elo on here for my Optica choice, monolithic suppressor for the range and the velocity, and it keep me hidden on the radar, control barrel to make this thing extra easy to use, plus we get that better velocity. 1109 is sufficient there. 40 meter effective damage range, 55 meters second damage range. Vast convergence foregrip, again, max control here between these two attachments. Your setup, this thing is not going to move over range. And then we got extended mag 2, 60 rounder, works fine for all squad sizes. Again, if you're just a solos player, feel free to rock extended mag 1. But yeah, this thing is a beast as well. Quite frankly, all these weapons featured in this video today are borderline broken, definitely leaning on that overpowered side of things. So use them while you can, because you never know if they're going to go through and nerf one of them into the ground, as they usually do, it seems. But if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe on your way out so you can stay in the know for everything going on in COD. But that is going to wrap things up. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.